Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is January the 21st, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day to ya. Hopefully you humped and didn't get humped. Unless that's what you're into, then by all means, have at it, my little rabbit. But no, my day was good. It was a solid day. It felt like a nice rebound from yesterday. Once again, not saying that yesterday was a bad day. I was just very exhausted. I was very tired just getting through it all. You know, it was a slog. I think an added issue too was my legs are really sore. I'm assuming just from working out, but definitely an emphasis on my ankle. So I went to sleep and overall I slept pretty good. So that's solid. But I woke up and my ankle was just killing me. And I was like, that's not a good way to start the day. But, I hobble on up. I get myself to work. And today was honestly, if I'm being just completely real, a perfect work day. Like it was like a classico 2025, day in the trash. Like I had to stop by the meeting, for my for work, my shift or whatever, start of shift meeting or essentially, for the day. And one of the cardboard runners that I'm friends with came over to me and said, yeah, I haven't seen you all day. You must be real happy. And I'm like, oh, I'm a pig and shit, dude. And they were like, oh, yeah, I've even been going out of my way to try to send you more buggies. I'm like, I appreciate it. Keep them coming. But no, overall, it was just a good day. It was nice to just be on the crusher. Like, I've already gotten myself into the mentality of, like, this isn't my necessary job anymore. I really am, like, my actual title, which is General Warehouse, a.k.a. Warehouse Slut. No. I just kind of get in where I fit in, you feel me? And, I know that the crusher isn't my home anymore. It's just where I want to be. If that makes sense. So it was nice to really be able to spend pretty much all my day at the crusher. Maybe sans, I don't know, about 15 minutes or so. I had to go upstairs to kind of cut down some boxes because I finished things up with the person on the second shift. Also, I had a really good conversation with said person on the second shift. They are looking to get back into like doing some content creation stuff. And, we were having a conversation just about it in general, and I was just, kind of saying my experience, giving my 2 cents or what have you. And it's nice. It's always nice to yap in general. I mean, me. But, whether it's about news, whether it's about hobbies, whatever, I'm down. And I think something like, content creation, that's right up my alley. Because either I'm trying to make it in terms of this podcast or I am intaking it when I'm watching live streams. I mean, that's pretty much all I do. So, I don't know. It was nice just to kind of bounce back and forth and kind of talk about that while we worked. It was cool. But yeah, no, overall, W work day. Also, it was popcorn day. We're back on our treat shit. So I had normie popcorn, my Doritos popcorn that I brought from home, and I had a huge white monster. Like I bought a couple of them from the from the gas station, from the Wawa. And man, low key, I'm thinking I might be switching this year from Nas's to White Monster. And I don't love that. I feel like I'm making some kind of sacrifice. I feel like I'm compromising who I am as a person with this decision. But man, oh man, once you get used to the taste, and I'm not saying I love White Monster's taste, but like I do love, consuming 0 calories. I think that's pretty fucking slick. So yeah, that's pretty enticing. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. But yeah, no, so, good little treat. We're so back. But yeah, went to the gym and we had a good gym session. It was very nice. I pretty much hit everything sans a couple of filler machines. But generally what was really important here was that I hit them motherfuckers. I had that sweat equity in. I was giving it. I was getting it. It felt good. It was nice. And then also the cardio was really good. Like I felt like I was closer to full bore on the treadmill. I was actually running even in my shitty little New Balances. Like, let's fucking go. So yeah, I don't know. I got out of the gym thinking to myself, man, today and yesterday were almost exactly the same, but my energy levels were just so different, which then just naturally affects everything in just a completely different way, right? So, so it goes. It was just a good bounce back. Of course, we came home, had our stretch, had our snack, did some research. So we are, all ready to go, ready to yap about some news. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Well, first let's do our startup and then we'll get into it. How about that? How about that? All right. Oh, this is a random bit of side news that just popped into my head. The other week I heard Matthew McConaughey is trying to get trademarked or patented, whatever the fucking word is, his catchphrase, all right, all right, all right, which is from Dazed and Confused. Dynamite catchphrase. His reasoning, excuse, whatever, is he wants to do it so that it can be a defense against anyone trying to use it for AI purposes or things like that. And I was like, that's a little interesting. But also I feel like it's a bit dated. Obviously I think millennials on down to or on up to boomers or whatever might get that reference. But it's just getting more archaic by the day, right? I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about the news at hand for the day. From the BBC. Chinese mega embassy in London approved by government after debate over security risks. Plans for a huge Chinese embassy in London have been approved by the government after years of debate over security risks. The decision is now final unless it is successfully challenged in court, Housing Secretary Steve Reed says. National security is our first concern, the government says, adding that intelligence agencies have been involved throughout the process. Shadow Communities Secretary James Cleverly calls the move a disgraceful act of cowardice, while the Liberal Democrats say it's Keir Starmer's biggest mistake yet. Dude, I fucking love this shit because we're going to get into the next thing. But everyone is crying foul over this. They're so mad. They're big upset. And it's like, what do you want? Do you really want to just keep China as the biggest fucking menace while America is literally dry fucking you right now? Right now, talking shit about you to your face. And you're just rolling over and taking it, saying, jolly good. Is really China the biggest menace here? But for some of these motherfuckers, they don't care. They are down to make hay about it. Whether it be conservatives, whether it be Nigel Farage from the UK Reform Party, whatever, or it's Keir Starmer's own fucking folk. And don't get me wrong, fuck Keir Starmer. He's been the fucking limpest fucking noodle. It's so disappointing to watch this Labour fucking, party just do nothing. Except waste time and probably waste government tax dollars, chasing their tails, literally just appeasing no one. But let me get to my favorite fun fact about this. China bought the site of the proposed new embassy at Royal Mint Court near the Tower of London for £255 million pounds in 2018. Now, they have been delaying this up until now, where finally Keir Starmer says, you know what, looking at the situation, let's just let this shit rock. At least I'm assuming that's what happened, right? But now everyone is crying, like I said, boo, this fucking sucks, tomato, tomato, tomato. It's the Tories were the ones who let that shit happen in 2018. They were in power back then, if I'm not goddamn mistaken. So what are we doing here? What are we fucking talking about? Everyone had their hands in here. The deal got fucking made. And then you guys kept putting it off, because, oh gosh, China. Okay, well, guess what? You need to be dealing with them anyway. So give them the goddamn mega embassy. Let them build that shit. I don't know, man. This shit seems so fucking funny and lame to me, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just too China pilled for my own good, man. I really just got the fucking vibe this year. You know what I mean? You found me at a very Chinese time of my life. I don't know. I feel like the whole world. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to our next story. We got to talk about Lindsay Halligan. Got a bit of an update on her from The Guardian. Lindsay Halligan leaves post as U.S. attorney after judge's sharp criticism. Lindsay Halligan, a Trump-appointed federal attorney who led the failed prosecutions of two of the president's political opponents, has left her position at the Justice Department. The U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said on Tuesday. The departure of Halligan, who previously served as Trump's personal attorney, comes after multiple judges have sharply criticized her and cast doubts on her ability to lawfully remain in her position. Halligan, who had no prosecutorial experience, was sworn in as interim U.S. attorney for the U.S. Eastern District of Virginia in September, after the president pushed out her predecessor, who had declined to bring charges against Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, and James Comey, the former FBI director. Halligan oversaw indictments brought against James and Comey, which were criticized as politically vindictive, and a judge in November dismissed the cases. The judge who threw out the cases ruled that Halligan had been unlawfully appointed and did not have the legal authority to bring the indictments against James and Comey. So literally, it was kind of a free space for the judge because he just got to say, like, this is kind of like just by a technicality. Like, you just don't have the legal ability to be here right now. Like, it's just, you just shouldn't be. Like, technically, you just shouldn't. Like, the processes weren't met. And we got to get that fixed before you can even, be doing this shit. But we talked about it before. The shit was handled very sloppy, very, forced, and, definitely errors were made and just like, okay, no, it's fine, no big deal. It's like, no, like this is a malpractice kind of situation. Like this isn't okay. But luckily the judge was like, no, I can just rule off on this right here. We can throw it off of that, the merit of that alone. But no, she did not want to give up the position. They were essentially going to just try to back, run her interim status. And essentially, that's another thing you can't do legally. And multiple judges were sounding off saying, hey, you can't do this. And now we were finally getting to the point where the criticisms were actually coming into action. Halligan's departure comes as she was facing escalating scrutiny. On Tuesday, David Novak, a federal judge, said he was removing the words United States Attorney from the signature of an indictment, saying Halligan was prohibited from continuing to present herself with that title, the Associated Press reported. The judge threatened to launch disciplinary proceedings against Halligan if she violated the order and continued presenting herself as a U.S. attorney. And just kind of other judges were kind of making similar things, saying, hey, you need to post the job opening because she doesn't have the job. You can't just act like she's just here. But this is so par the course for the administration. They go, oh, a judge ruled. Well, you're not a Supreme Court judge. So, like, who really gives a shit what you have to say? Like, we abide in the sense of, like, okay, this got thrown out. We'll be working on something in the future, but whatever. But they really were just going to have Halligan just kind of coast as this attorney that she's just not legally allowed to fucking be. And essentially they're like, no, we're going to start, taking the monikers off. We're going to start fucking stripping out the paint if you keep this fucking shit up. And that was enough to, I guess, kind of scare fear of God into these people. And they go, okay. But of course, they're going to whine all the way. Maybe I can find this quote from Halligan. The circumstances that led to this outcome, or not Halligan, this is from Bondi, my bad. The circumstances that led to this outcome are deeply misguided, Bondi added. We are living in a time when a democratically elected president's ability to staff key law enforcement positions faces serious obstacles. The obstacles are the law, dude. Like, you guys are trying to circumvent the law at almost every fucking avenue chance you get, and then be mad when a judge says you can't do this, you need to stop, like you have to go about this a different way, and they just harumph, or they just literally try to bulldoze it and just keep obnoxiously just misapplying the law to however they see fucking fit. So yeah, I mean, I love it. I in a certain way, this is just so much moxie and bravado, and they just know that they can just do what they want. And even if these judges really want to press on them, they know that if they want, they can drag their feet once again all the way to the Supreme Court. And if that's a ruling they don't really, it doesn't really wind up actually working out for them, well, then maybe they will back down. That's seemingly how things are going. So yeah, I mean, I know we're actually waiting for some more Supreme Court stuff this week or coming down the pipe. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll probably get to that. But anyway, I wanted to highlight this. I'm actually happy to see her go. She was, like I said, Halligan was not fucking leaving. She was still trying to do things that were definitely jamming up things for the district. So I'm happy to see her actually happy fucking trailsing out of here. You know what I mean? Go back to doing whatever, lesser law you were doing. Stay in your lane. Goddamn. Anyway, let's fucking move on. I don't want to linger too long on this. We've been talking a lot of Europe. I don't love it. Talking a lot of Greenland. I don't love it. But things are escalating. And goddamn, apparently EU's got a fucking bazooka. Okay. From the Associated Press, what the EU's trade bazooka is and how it works. Dude, rest in peace to Granny. She got hit with a fucking bazooka. Kaboom. Kablow. Boom, dude. Okay, I'm sorry. Rattled by U.S. President Donald Trump's threats over Greenland, the European Union is readying countermeasures against the United States. As primarily a trading bloc, the EU's toolkit is mostly financial instruments, from steep tariffs on U.S. goods to the so-called trade bazooka touted by French President Emmanuel Macron. So far, most of the 27 EU nations remain skeptical about using it. They are talking... I'm sorry. Excuse me, moi. They are talking about this thing like it is a fucking legendary, like legacy weapon. Like we're talking some anime or something, and they're gonna fucking hop out on fucking Donald Trump with the fucking yopper. Like I'm picturing Ursula von der Leyen just like hitting the desperado fucking pose and just blowing his shit off. I'm sorry. In a video game or something. It's just crazy that we are describing this as a bazooka. But anyway, let me explain a little bit of this and then we can just move on. I just really wanted to say bazooka a bunch and sing that little song. The term is shorthand for the bloc's anti-coercion instrument, which includes a raft of measures for blocking or restricting trade and the investment from countries found to be putting undue pressure on EU member nations or corporations. The measures could include curtailing the export and import of goods and services, barring countries or companies from EU public tenders, or limiting foreign direct investment. In its most severe form, the bazooka would essentially close off access to EU's 450 million customer market. The bazooka could inflict billions of dollars of losses on U.S. companies and the American economy. Now, once again, another thing I find fucking funny about this whole little bazooka, it was never meant for the U.S., okay? In such a tragic twist of fate, it was never meant for an ally. It was meant for an enemy. It was meant for an op. The China op. The Dragon Rises. And we had a bazooka for their ass. Apparently. We. I say we. I meant we. I mean they. I don't know. Anyway, Europe apparently were like, we were going to use this on China. But Donald Trump is forcing our hand over this Greenland shit. He's talking tariffs. So we gotta maybe put the fucking bazooka on Grandpa. So... rest in peace to Granny. She got hit with a bazooka. Kaboom. Kablow. Okay, that's it. That's all I really wanted to talk about, this goddamn trade bazooka thing. From trade bazookas, though, to Tuna, we gotta talk recalls. This one's a pretty nasty one. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break, and we will close it out. Oops, sorry, hit the microphone. All right. From NBC News, canned tuna recalled for oh boy. Ooh, I coughed so much I got a cramp. Oh boy, bear with me. Bear with my dear listeners. Oh gosh. Canned tuna recalled for potentially fatal botulism risk was potentially reshipped to 9 states. Federal officials are warning shoppers to steer clear of cans of potentially tainted Genova yellowfin tuna that were mistakenly shipped this week to 6 grocery store chains in 9 different states. The suspect cans were part of a larger recall of tuna products last February after Tri-Union Seafoods learned that some of the Easy Open pool tablets were defective, the Food and Drug Administration said in a statement Monday. The defect could cause the cans to leak or become contaminated with Clostridium botulism, a potentially fatal form of food poisoning, the agency warned. But for reasons unclear, these cans of quarantined tuna were recently inadvertently shipped by a third-party distributor, the FDA said. Consumers should not use the products even if it does not look or smell spoiled, the FDA warned. Customers feeling unwell should seek immediate medical attention. The chains that received the suspect shipments include Meijer stores in Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and Wisconsin, and giant food stores in Maryland and Virginia. The recalled tuna was also shipped to Safeway, Albertsons, Vons, and Pavilion stores in California. Let's see. They are cans of Genova yellowfin tuna in olive oil. They have like the UPC code and all that. Yeah, we're not going to run through all those numbers, but obviously buyer beware. You definitely don't want to catch botulism. That would be bad news bears. But yeah, I think this makes our 3rd recall already of the year. I think we had cheese, then we had some chicken, and now we got tuna. So, I mean, in a way, they're kind of hitting me where I live. Though, granted, I don't eat too much cheese these days. But yeah, so obviously be careful. Get your refund exchange if you have the receipt and all that stuff, or just toss it, just chuck it. It's a little bit of tuna, you'll live without it. I know the gains. Well, I don't know, maybe people are just eating tuna for fun. It's possible. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have. I literally have a stomach cramp, so I'm not even gonna chill right now. We're actually just gonna am Scray. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.